Hello everybody, this is Deanna Nichols. I am a doTERRA Blue Diamond Wellness Advocate, and I am here with our weekly event, Essential Oils Are Not Magic Beans. If you are watching the replay, you will see a little bit of a delay here while we're waiting for it to turn over exactly to 9 o'clock Eastern Time. We want to always try to start a little bit early so that Facebook can sort of notify everybody that we've actually gone live. So give us a second here, let me just check the time. It looks like we are right at 9 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And tonight we're going to be talking about pain, discomfort, inflammation, all those types of things that happen to all of us. I talk to people all the time and I ask them, I believe very strongly that every home needs to have essential oils in it. They need to know how to use the essential oils for all kinds of different things. And when I start to ask people, what are some health concerns that you have that you'd like to work on, that you'd like to support your body, maybe some goals that you have for your health, and inevitably, I would say like 2/3 of people say, oh, I'm totally fine, I don't need anything. And I always have to laugh because we're super healthy in our house, but we use the essential oils every day for all kinds of different things. And one of the most common things is pain. You have pain that happens because you just overuse your muscles. You have pain that happens because you may have a headache. You get pain because you just whack your elbow on the corner of a piece of furniture or your shin on the foot of your bed. You have pain from hitting your head. You have pain from some people just have pain all the time. They get maybe numbness or tingling, or you might just get a random sharp pain in your side that you don't know pain is just something that we're human. So if you're human and you have human DNA, then you do need essential oils because you're going to have pain. And I believe that every home needs at least a basic starter kit of essential oils, and then you just need to kind of know what they all do so that when you have something pop up like pain, you know which of those oils would be good to use for that particular kind of pain. So for me to say like what oil is good for pain, it's kind of like asking what oil is good for sleep or what oil is good for a headache. They happen for all kinds of different reasons. Now, essential oils are not magic beans. What I mean by that is that we promote a wellness lifestyle. So we expect you to be doing as much for your wellness as possible. So getting exercise, drinking plenty of water, eating whole, unprocessed foods, avoiding processed foods and sugars and things that are not good for your body, drinking clean water, breathing fresh air, trying to avoid toxins, and trying to mitigate your stress in your life. So these are all things that are going to help you with that. And so I could not talk about pain without first talking about the nutritional foundation that you need. And we are the only essential oil company in the world that talks about nutrition. And I think that that's kind of why I call this class Essential Oils Are Not Magic Beans, because I feel like we're expecting an awful lot from an essential oil if we think that we can just throw on an oil whenever there's a problem and then we can just kind of, eat donuts and drink sugar-laden coffees all day long and just kind of sit around and watch TV and drink sodas and not take care of ourselves, and that we're going to see these incredible results. I had a complete life change, like literally 180 degrees in my life. And if I were to sit here and tell you that that was completely due to essential oils, that would be completely false. Of course, I was already doing some things to be at the best wellness that I could be. That included all the things that I've mentioned. And but then, of course, the essential oils were a huge part of it. And so that's why I believe that every home needs them. But you don't need to be sick to use essential oils. That's a misconception. Essential oils are not for sick people. They're for well people. Well people take care of themselves, and this is something that can be part of your everyday wellness regimen. So I'm going to start with what I think that every single person needs to start with, and that is nutrition. So I told you whole, unprocessed foods. But no matter if you ate perfectly, which you don't, okay, let's not lie to ourselves. None of us eats perfectly. Some of us are closer than others, but we don't eat perfectly. But even if we did, there's so much lacking in our soil. There's just not a lot of great farming practices in our nation anymore. And so we're going to be having gaps in our nutrition. And that's just, there's no question about it. Every person needs to supplement. We believe in that as a country. And so the vitamin and supplement industry is like, a huge industry. But doTERRA's #1 best-selling product is actually not an essential oil. It is a set of 3 supplements, and they do include essential oils, which makes them also very unique, but they're very high quality whole food ingredients. So one of the things we're missing in our food is polyphenols. Polyphenols is something that comes from fruits and vegetables, but it's really just not found in fruits and vegetables like it was 50 years ago. Like I said, I mentioned some of the reasons why that is the case. And so we have polyphenols in our supplements, and most supplements that you're going to take that have polyphenols, those polyphenols are going to come from coffee and tea. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't sit down and drink a nice or eat a nice bowl of tea or a coffee sandwich. And so that is really not whole food ingredients. That's not realistic. Okay. Now, some of you probably do consist on a diet of coffee, but that's a conversation for another day. But for the rest of us, we do need to consume food, and so doTERRA gets theirs from whole fruits and vegetables, and so that is very encouraging to me that we're very careful where we source our ingredients from. So this is the first step in the Lifelong Vitality Pack. It's our Microplex. So that's going to be our, basically that's like our food supplement, and it contains a lot of your vitamins and minerals, amino acids, those kinds of things. Then you've got your Alpha CRS, which is your cellular health. And so we know that our cells need to be healthy. We want healthy cells to keep replicating in our body. We're made of cells. Everything's made of cells. So we want those to be healthy and strong. And then we have our Xe Omega, which is going to play a huge role along with the VMZ that has the polyphenols in it, because polyphenols have a huge impact on how much pain we experience. But also, so does this. The American diet is extremely, extremely low in our omega complex, and this is going to give you your fish oils and lots of other things that are going to help with inflammation in the body. You want to have a healthy, normal inflammatory response. Inflammation's not bad, but when it happens, when you're at a high inflammation level all the time, then that's bad. Okay, so why do you have an inflammatory response? So that when you bang your knee on your desk, scooting your chair underneath it, that fluid and stuff is going to kind of protect you, and that is a normal response. What's not a normal response is to constantly be walking around with just all your joints hurting, all your muscles aching, feeling stiff, those kinds of things. So not only does this have the fish oils and other ingredients, but it has 9 essential oils in here. One of the essential oils in there is clove. Clove is like the highest antioxidant essential oil, and we need antioxidants to be healthy. There's also a study out there that shows some interesting results when you combine fish oil and clove together and how that affects the inflammatory response. And so I take this every day. My dog takes it every day. My husband takes it every day. And at one point we had 3 dogs taking it. We've had 2 that have passed away recently, but they're older dogs, but we really saw some great results for all of us by taking this. And so I really recommend that be your foundation. Now that we've got a pretty good audience going, I want to ask you that if you are my personal guest, I invited you personally, I would love for you to comment sometime during this. Just kind of type a little comment below, let me know you're here, maybe something that you learned, and I have a gift for you. Also, at the very end, we're going to be making a blend, and I'm going to give it away to one guest. You can be a guest of anybody. I don't care whose team it is. If you're a guest, meaning you do not use doTERRA, you do not have a membership to doTERRA, and you're just a guest on this video tonight, I will put you in a drawing, but you have to comment, I am a guest, and I was invited by, and put the person's name below in the comments, and then you can be entered. So if you're my guest, you automatically get a gift, and if you are just any guest, you can enter to win, and I will contact you and send that out to you. So stick around to the end when we make that roller bottle. It's a really cool recipe, so you'll want to stick around for that. Okay? All right, let's dive into some oils now, because that's why you're here. So I believe that every home needs at least 10 basic oils to kind of just start out with, and keep them somewhere out where you're going to use them. Don't hide them in your drawer in your room. Don't hide them in the box they came in. You want them to be out somewhere safe. Essential oils are very powerful. At least doTERRA essential oils are very powerful because unlike the majority of oils out there, they've not been watered down. They've not been created synthetically in a lab. There's no contaminants or things added to them. And so they are straight, very concentrated essential oil. So for example, this bottle of lemon essential oil represents the essential oil from 75 large lemons, very large lemons. And so you can see how very highly concentrated this is. So one of the first things I'm going to recommend for everybody is we don't want pain. So there's no need to wait until we have pain to make sure that we have that normal inflammatory response. And so lemon is a great habit for everyone to get into, and how you would use it is you would put a drop in every 8 ounces of water you drink, and I hope you're drinking plenty of water. We're made up of like mostly water, and so when we breathe, we're getting rid of like a lot of water when we just have our normal respiratory process. And so you do need to consume water all throughout the day. So I recommend getting a glass water bottle, putting a drop of lemon in every 8 ounces you drink. It's very cleansing to the body. You're going to feel more energy when you do that. And so I just really recommend that that is a wellness habit for every person. It is, aside from eating a very healthy diet, this would be, in my opinion, the single most important wellness habit that I have developed over the past 5 years. I attribute a lot of how wonderful I feel now to this daily health habit. So I definitely recommend that. This oil is in every basic starter kit that we have, for the most part, most of the starter kits that we have, because it's something everybody should be using. All right. Another oil that every home needs is lavender. Lavender is just like kind of like a no-brainer oil. I mean, it's pretty much anything that happens, you're going to want to throw some lavender on it. It's very soothing and calming. And so, I mean, if you get a burn and you have pain from that, this is going to knock down the pain from the burn. It's also going to help the tissue. If you have a headache, you can always start with lavender and work up, add some other oils over it. But it's always a good idea to start with lavender for any kind of pain, muscle pain, head pain, tissue pain. Any of that kind of stuff is going to be positively affected by lavender. So you definitely want to have lavender in your home. If for nothing else, when you have a serious pain and you are feeling stressed out about that, I mean, pain causes, you can see how the effects of pain on the body when people start to breathe more rapidly and their heart rate goes up and they are feeling emotional stress. Lavender is going to calm your nervous system and help you to relax. About 2 years ago, I had an appointment with my son's crib that didn't end very well. I went one way and my toe stayed there. And so when I extricated my foot, my toe was my little baby toe was hanging off my foot. And needless to say, that was pretty freakish looking. In fact, when I got to the ER, every medical person who walked past would just be kind of like, walking past, and then they would see my foot and absolutely freak out. And, you know, these are professionals. They see stuff all the time, but this was very grotesque. So I sat in the emergency room for 7.5 hours waiting for my toe to be, you know, reassembled. And do you know that during that time I was in no pain at all, zero pain. And the reason why is I kept just layering oils all over my foot, oils that were good for pain, for tissue, for bone, for calming. And I was inhaling them, I was putting them on, they were getting in my bloodstream, and I was like so calm. And if anyone knows me, I'm not known as a calm person in general. I tend to freak out with like medical looking things, you know, blood and gore, and I'm kind of a sensitive person in that regard. I can talk about it all day, but if I have to look at it, it just freaks me out. And so I'm just not calm in those situations. I had an emergency situation one time with my son on the side of an interstate, and I just shut down. The entire time my husband was like, Deanna, 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 and I just couldn't move. And that's, so I'm not, you know, I was not called to be like an EMT or a trauma surgeon or something, you know, but I was completely calm. I had no pain the whole time. And when they went to go set my toe and everything, it was a pretty bad process. The orthopedic doctor said, you know, this is probably going to be a few seconds of really, really intense pain, so brace yourself. And I did, and all I felt was like this little pop. And when that happened, she was like, okay, what's the deal with these oils? Because I have pain and I need some help. And I think it's because she was just really surprised at how calm I was through the whole process. And I was pretty darn surprised myself. So lavender is just a good one in any situation. My husband actually came upon a girl who had just gotten in a head-on collision. The other day we passed the spot where it happened and he showed me. And he's not trained in any kind of medical field at all, but you know, he's a human, so he saw it happen and he thought, how can I help? So he pulled off the road, and you know, he saw that it was a bad accident, and he was able to talk to the girl, and he was able to share some of our emotional aromatherapy oils with her, because she was very distraught and freaking out, and he was able to at least calm her. And you know, when your heart rate slows down and you calm down, it's just going to be better in any kind of situation like that. So don't underestimate the power of your emotions too. Some other oils that can help with emotional pain would be like the Peace Blend, one of the emotional aromatherapy blends. Console can be another good one. Even like Serenity are great blends by doTERRA. Okay. Another oil that every home needs is Deep Blue. Now, when I said, you know, there's not one pain oil out there, this is kind of the exception to that rule. Because if you look up all the different kinds of pain, you're going to see several different examples and, what am I trying to say? Several different recommendations of oils, but almost every one that has to do with pain is going to include Deep Blue. Deep Blue is a blend made by doTERRA. It has a lot of stuff in it that is not only good for pain, but it's also good for helping your body to heal itself. So, you know, there's a lot of things out there that when you put them on for pain, they're going to give you like a tingly experience for a short time before they wear off. That's great, and that might help you temporarily, but it's also probably putting toxins in your body. There's probably toxic artificial ingredients that are not good for you. Synthetically created essential oils, which are going to be disruptive to your hormones. And so this is going to be completely natural essential oils that are all from plants. And it also has oils that are there to help help your body to repair itself. So if you have a broken bone or torn tissue or just damaged, stretched out ligaments or muscles, this is going to help your body in its natural, normal process of repairing itself. So there's a statistic floating around out there that like 67% of people that are using doTERRA on a regular basis are doing so because they had a really strong experience with Deep Blue. So I don't know if my friend Natasha's on here. Natasha plays some pretty intense sports, and I shared some Deep Blue with her after she was pretty roughed up yesterday. I had some sore areas, and I shared it with her, and she texted me this morning and said that it was like a lifesaver. I actually shared the Deep Blue Rub with her, which is a cream that contains the Deep Blue oil. And so that's kind of what she used. And that's just a way to kind of keep it sitting on the surface a little bit longer, which gives you a little bit more long-term relief. But the oil by itself is wonderful also. So that Deep Blue is going to be in just about every one of our starter kits that we have. Another oil that you can always grab, and this is great for like headaches or layering. So layering is where you like, let's say I had some pain in my shoulder. So I could start and put lavender. Lavender's a great place to start. So let me put some lavender on, rub that in. Then the next thing I could do is I could grab some peppermint oil. And peppermint is going to be like a tingly oil, so that's going to help relieve topical pain. So you can take some peppermint. It's great for nerves as well. So you can take some peppermint, put a few drops in your palm, layer that over the lavender. Now, as a little small aside here, I just want to mention that peppermint can be a little too tingly for some people, especially if you're sweaty or hot in that area. And so if you tend to be sensitive on the skin, you may want to add a little fractionated coconut oil, which is a liquid coconut oil. Or you might want to wait and see how you do, and if it starts to tingle too much, you can add the coconut oil after the fact. Okay? If you've been used to using essential oils, other brands, and everything always says like, oh, it has to be diluted. The only reasons to dilute essential oils are, number one, if you know it's a hot oil and you want to not upset your skin and irritate your skin. So like oregano, you would always use a carrier oil. Cinnamon, you'd always use a carrier oil. Another reason would be if you want to keep the oil and you really just want to kind of keep it on the surface, then that's kind of why you would use coconut oil, to keep it kind of right here. So if you did want to do, like if you had something on your skin, on the surface of your skin that you wanted to kind of treat, then you would want a carrier oil. Another reason to use a carrier oil is to just keep the oil from evaporating. So oils evaporate at a really high rate, some more than others. Citrus oils, as much as 80% will evaporate. So if you want to keep it from evaporating, then you can use a carrier oil for that reason. Like I mentioned before, if you use an oil and then you suddenly realize, oh gosh, this is too hot for my skin, then you can add the carrier oil to calm it down. You do not need to dilute everything under the sun. There's no reason for that. I fear that sometimes people are saying that because they know that there are other ingredients in there that should not be in there. or because there are, yeah, pretty much that there's ingredients in there that shouldn't be in there, or it's synthetic or whatever, and they know that it's going to irritate your skin. So I use essential oils that are designed to be used without a carrier oil all the time, and I have extremely sensitive skin. I also use them on my child. He's been getting essential oils, doTERRA essential oils, since he was 10 minutes old, and that's the brand I trust because we're the only ones out there that are doing 11 additional tests beyond what everyone else does to make sure that nothing's been added to kind of make it smell like lavender when it's really corn oil that's flavored like lavender, or that they had a issue with the crop, and so they've added some stuff in there to kind of make it look chemically like lemongrass when it's really something else. And we don't just talk about it, we actually prove it. So we're the only ones who do that. On the bottom of our bottles, there's a little number. You can go to source2u.com and you can put that number in. It's going to show you all the testing that was done on that bottle of oil that you're holding, so you don't have to just take our word for it, because unfortunately there are some shady practices out there and we want to keep you safe. All right, so peppermint, always a good one to keep around for pain. Frankincense. I would be crazy not to mention frankincense. In fact, to be honest with you, this is probably the first one I grab. When I have any kind of pain, I do layering. That's my favorite technique for pain, especially if I'm talking about like muscle pain and things and joint pain and things like that happen usually from just like a freak accident or sleeping wrong, bumping something, my kid being too rough with me, my 2.5-year-old kind of rough. I usually kind of start with frankincense and lavenders where I begin. And again, frankincense is very gentle, so you don't have to worry about using a carrier oil. So you can take a little bit, just kind of rub it on the back of your neck. If you have a headache, that's a good place to do it. Or, like I can't get to it because my ball cap, but you can go to your temples. I recently had some jaw pain from a tooth, so you could kind of rub that on the outside along your jaw. But frankincense is a very powerful anti-inflammatory, so it helps your body to have that healthy, normal inflammatory response. So what I do is I just take it every day as a part of my daily wellness regimen. Just like I take lemon every day, I take frankincense every day. How I use it is under my tongue. I want you to watch very carefully. This should only be attempted by a trained professional. It's a very complex technique that I'm about to show you, so watch carefully. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty simple. And if you're using doTERRA, then you know that it's safe to take it internally, but it also will state that on the bottle. And the person that introduced you to doTERRA will teach you which oils are to be used which way. And that's another thing I like about doTERRA is that we don't sell oils. People think that we do, but I have never once sold an oil to anyone, and I have over 8,000 families in my worldwide network, my worldwide community of oil users. I empower families to make their own purchases and their own decisions, and then I come alongside them and educate them so they know how to use them safely and effectively, and that is what we do. So frankincense is good, and it's also really good when you have kids. In fact, if you have kids, I'm going to mention 2 oils that should definitely be in your home. Frankincense will be in your kit. Geranium is one you'll have to get later on down the road, but I call it Frankenjerry. These 2 guys are the ones you want to call in when your kid like hits his head or gets a bump or a lump of some kind, and you're just going to layer these on. So I have a little boy, so of course he climbs on everything and jumps off of everything like a crazy person. So he's gotten a lot of bumps on his head, and so I immediately will grab Frankenjerry. He's 2.5, so he knows we have an oil shelf up on the wall that we keep out of his reach, but he goes over and points, and he knows which oils to use when he hits his head or gets some kind of bump on his leg or whatever. So we rub a little frankincense on right away, rub a little geranium on right away, and then, if we don't see that bump going down, then we'll do it again for the next, 15, 20 minutes. We'll just keep putting it on. And then I'll look at it over the course of, the next several days or the next several hours. And I might put a little bit more on as the day goes on. Honestly, most of the time when he's got one of those big goose eggs on his head, it's been gone in like less than an hour if I keep applying the oils. The key is apply it as soon as you can after you run into whatever it is or drop whatever it is on your foot or hit your head. Put them on right away. Put them on, just a little dab, like 1 drop. If it's a little kid, you can just tilt the bottle on the tip of your finger, rub it right on their head. They're smaller, so they need a smaller amount, okay? That's how you use oil safely with kids. You just use less. We're all human, so we have the same DNA, so there's not different oils that you would use. One thing doTERRA has done to make your life really simple so you don't have to think. I love things where I don't have to think, because I'm a busy mom. I'm the CEO of a very large business, and so I have a very busy lifestyle. I don't have a lot of time to think. And so doTERRA has made these things called Touch. They're rollers that are already diluted with fractionated coconut oil. They're all diluted at different ratios based on how hot that oil is. And so we want to make it easy for moms to basically stop, drop, and roll. So if you have these, I carry these in my son's diaper bag. Whenever something happens, I can literally just roll this right on. I don't have to worry about which oil I used. Is it a hot oil? Is it a sensitive oil? Can it be used neat? I don't have to worry. And, you know, kids, they don't stay still. At least mine doesn't. And so sometimes it's just easier to just kind of roll something on him as he's in passing instead of trying to sit him down, open up a bottle, pour it in my hand, and rub it on him. It's just a lot easier to do. And so I just find that the Touch rollers are super, super convenient. So all of these basic oils that every home needs, they're all going to come in a Touch roller, except for lemon, because lemon, we just don't often use it topically. We usually use that internally, or we breathe it in aromatically. While I'm talking about aromatically, sometimes we don't think about this, but I've had some times where I've had pain all over. So an example was when I was pregnant with my son, I fell. I did a toe pick. I was kind of jogging. You should never, jog when you're shaped like your midsection is 3 times wider than the rest of your body. You probably shouldn't jog. I was jogging up the walkway into the house, and I did a toe pick, and I fell, boom, right on the sidewalk, and ended up having a crush fracture on the side of my foot, and I was sore from head to toe. Couldn't really move. And I didn't know where to put the oil. Like, I felt like I needed to dip myself in a vat of oil. And so that was not a possibility. I couldn't even reach most of the places that were hurting at the time, and my husband was out of town. So what I did was, at first I needed time to assess the situation. Do I feel the baby moving? Do I need to go to the ER? But in the meantime, things hurt. And so what I did was I took my diffuser. This is a diffuser. There's a plug-in. So you would take that out, obviously. You add water up to the little red line. And then I added 5 drops of frankincense in here. And I diffused it right next to where I was sitting. And within just a few hours, I felt so much different just inhaling the oils. I'm sure it helped calm me emotionally, and it just helped with the inflammatory response. Then I did the Franken-Jerry on my foot because that was what was throbbing. I did it over and over and over. And when my foot was still hurting really bad the next day, I knew that's very rare. Usually if I do the Franken-Jerry, I wake up the next day and it's like nothing ever happened. That's truly what my experience has been. But in this particular case, that was not true. And so I had to go to the emergency room where I found out I actually had a pretty bad crush fracture. And so in order to help my body to heal, I used a really cool oil called Helichrysum, which is kind of has the word heal in there. It just helps your body in its natural healing process, and it kind of speeds it up. And so I used Helichrysum, and I actually used another oil called Birch, which is not one that we sell. It's one that you can only get at our convention. But it's particularly good for bone pain. But if you can't get Birch, then an oil you can get is called Wintergreen. And so it's very similar chemically to Birch, and so you can use that, and that really helped my body in the process of healing. Now, Frank and Jerry are friends, but Frank and Marge are buddies too. And Frank and Marge like to hang out in the bathtub together, okay? And the reason for that would be if you have all over muscle pain, like let's say that you, like a lunatic, have decided to train for a 5K, and you're having all over, I'm saying that because that's what I'm doing, and you're having all over muscle pain, like everything just hurts, you can take about a half a cup of Epsom salts and add maybe 2 drops of marjoram and 2 drops of frankincense, so Frank and Marge, and just soak in a nice hot tub for about 10 minutes. It's amazing how quickly that will just relieve all that overall pain that you're having. If you're constantly having pain in your back and your spine, like your skeletal system, what I recommend, and you might need a friend to help you with this, is I would recommend layering AromaTouch oil, which was actually designed for nerve pain more. I would recommend layering AromaTouch up the spine, like at kind of like butt crack level, if I can say that. I'm sorry, there must be a nicer way to say it, but I want to make it clear. Right above, not below, because if you get it too low, then you're going to be sad when it tingles in the wrong ways. But up the spine, all the way up to like the back of the head here, and layer that up the spine, maybe like 2 or 3 drops, and then you're going to do the deep blue over top in a layer. Okay, so those two together up the spine can also help with like all over pain or just pain throughout your whole back. So that's another one that I recommend. Let's see, what else? Melaleuca. Melaleuca, I've been doing these oils for a while. Somebody shared a success story the other day about Melaleuca being great for some nerve pain that they were having. I would have never guessed it. But as I was looking through my essential oil reference book today, sure enough, came up for nerve pain. What I usually use for nerve pain is a blend called Past Tense. It's the tension blend. So like if you have a knot, in your shoulder or your neck from sleeping funny or whatever, sitting in the car too long, or in the airplane, usually I can just like roll this on and rub it in, and it kind of just releases that knot because it has all these like sedating oils in it that are calming for the nerves. So, or if you have like the sciatic nerve is acting up, you can just kind of run this down all the way down that sciatic nerve. It's got a lot of really great oils in it, like basil and marjoram and Roman chamomile, that are all good for the nerves and the calming. So that's one that I normally use, but apparently Melaleuca can be used for it. Another really cool experience I had is I twisted my ankle kind of jogging up a lot of stairs at a convention center, and my ankle was giant and swollen, and I put oregano on it, and it was amazing in the morning how much the swelling had gone down. And so normally when you put oregano anywhere but the bottom of your feet, you're going to need to use a carrier oil. In this particular situation, I did not even use a carrier oil. I just put it straight on my ankle, and it didn't irritate my skin, which is odd. Maybe because there was already so much like inflammation built up around it and liquid around it. But normally you're going to want to use a carrier oil with oregano, but that's another one. And that's another one that's in every kit too. That's kind of like your cootie oil. When you're really fighting something big, you can take that. Sometimes you want to take oils internally. When you take oils internally for pain, usually it's because it's like more severe pain, like acute pain, or because you want to make sure the oils aren't evaporating. So when you take an oil internally, obviously it's not going to evaporate into the air. And so how you would do that is you would get some veggie caps. So doTERRA has veggie caps, and you can just open one up and you can put a couple drops in here of oil. There's all kinds of crazy lunatic level recipes on the internet about taking oils in capsules. You don't want to more than like 3 or 4 drops of anything at a time. Okay, any more than that is just excessive. You don't need it. This is doTERRA we're talking about, so it's very pure. So one of my favorite recipes for pain is to put 2 drops of lemongrass and 2 drops of cypress in a capsule, and you just kind of pour it in the capsule, and then make sure you have some food on your stomach so you're not burping it up later, and swallow it with a full glass of water. And again, make sure that's doTERRA because these are safe for internal use because of our safety and purity practices. And it'll also tell you on the bottle if that particular oil, because not every one of them is recommended for internal use. You can also take a couple drops. doTERRA does not recommend using wintergreen internally, but I do it occasionally. I will take a couple of drops very occasionally of wintergreen for pain if I so choose. That's up to you. It's your body, so it's your decision. And that is just a personal recommendation, not from the company. Okay, so those are some basic things, and that covers most of the basic oils that we have in every home that are all the starter kits are going to have. Now let me give you this, I'm going to give you 2 recipes. One I'm just going to tell you really quick, and then the other one we're going to make it together, and then I'm going to give it away. So make sure if you are a visitor and you're not currently associated with doTERRA that you commented that you're a visitor and who invited you so that you can be put in that drawing. So I know sometimes we get those headaches that come with, sometimes they come with nausea and sensitivity to light and sound, and they're just kind of different kind of headaches. When you get one of those kind of headaches, I found a really cool recipe, and I have never personally tried this, so I would love for somebody to kind of try it out and report back to me. But just combining juniper berry and helichrysum. We talked about that helichrysum earlier, and then juniper berry, and just kind of rubbing that on the back of your neck. I have never heard that before. I read it in one of these books, and I'm excited to have somebody try it and let me know how that works for those particular kinds of headaches. Now, let's make this roller, and after the roller is made, I'm going to tell you how you can get your hands on some of your own doTERRA oils and how to get $100 in free essential oils in the last few days of January. So don't Don't leave until you hear that, and let's make this blend together. Okay, let me get my little cheat sheet here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a roller bottle. Okay, a roller bottle is a bottle that comes with a little roller ball that you can put on the top, and then here's the lid. So this one is a 5 milliliter. That's the ones I normally use, so I don't make a whole bunch of something that just I don't ever use. So I'm going to put 4 drops of juniper berry in here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to do 3 drops of marjoram. Where's Marge? Where'd you go, Marge? I know she's around here someplace. I was just talking about you. I need an assistant for one of these. Who wants to come over? Landis is going to come over and be my assistant. She said she wanted to be on video. It's one of her favorite things to do. 3 drops of marjoram. Okay, then 3 drops of Roman chamomile. I'm so excited that Roman chamomile is back in business. You know doTERRA, if we don't have a good, safe crop, we're not going to pretend like we still have an oil and still label it as such when we really don't. we're just not going to sell it to you if it's not safe and pure. So we didn't have it for like a year or so, but it's back now. So it's great. It's a great oil. It's really good for the sciatic nerve. So, and then 3 drops of ginger. Ginger's the one I recommended to that emergency room doctor for her pain, and she loved me for that. And then 3 drops of helichrysum. Okay. Now you're thinking like, okay, what do I do with the rest of that bottle? Well, I would say you're going to want, because ginger's kind of hot on hot oil, so you're going to want to take your coconut oil and fill it up, you know, maybe with twice as much coconut oil. And then you're going to put the lid on. And then what I do is when you get your doTERRA membership, it comes with a whole sheet of stickers. You can basically put like a juniper berry, marjoram, roman. You can put a sticker for each oil that's in here so you remember what's in your blend. Or you can label it, you know, like joint pain. That's what this is for, is joint pain. So if you struggle with joint pain, this is a good blend. And I'm going to tell you another secret. After I had my son, I had hip pain like you would not believe. I could not sleep. I remember waking up in the middle of the night and just staring at my bed. I would get out of bed and just look at my bed and think, I'm so tired, but I hate my bed because it's killing my hips. I couldn't find a position to sleep in. It was just really severe pain for a long time. And I started using this new product we have called Deep Blue Polyphenols. We talked about polyphenols and how important they are. And so I apparently needed some extra polyphenols, probably because I was breastfeeding and just, you know, created a human. And I was just a little depleted. My kid was eating all my polyphenols, I guess. So I started taking these before bed, and man, did I start sleeping well at night. It was incredible. It was absolutely wonderful. So that's another product. It does not contain essential oils, so don't think you can take some Deep Blue oil and put it in a capsule and that it's the same thing. There are parts of the plant that are not found in essential oils that you still need. That's why we still have to eat spinach and kale, because we still need that part of the plant. And so there's some parts of like the frankincense plant, the frankincense tree, that are found in there that are not found in the oil. So you do want to avoid taking the Deep Blue oil internally. It's not recommended for internal use, okay? Now, let me tell you how you can get your hands on doTERRA oils. This is important, and then I'm done. I'll be quiet. So there's 3 ways to get essential oils. You can buy retail. I have a website. You can go and buy retail. I don't recommend it. In fact, I say friends don't let friends buy retail, because you basically pay 25% more for the oils, and guess who pockets that 25%? Me. I'm good. I don't need the extra 25% in my pocket. I want you to have that. And so how you do is you get your own doTERRA membership. Because remember, I don't sell oils. I help people get their own oils. Just like I don't sell groceries, and you know, I'm not going to go buy your groceries for you, or you're not going to order them from me. You're going to go to the store and get them. And so you get your doTERRA membership one of 2 ways. You can either buy it for $35 and then you get the same prices and the same privileges that I get. Or you can do what I recommend and what is definitely by far the best deal. That is, get a starter kit. When you get a starter kit, there's one for every size family and every size budget. And so you choose the one you want, and it's going to come with a free wholesale membership. So you don't have to waste $35 on paper. You can actually just save that $35 and apply it towards your starter kit. So your starter kit gives you a free membership. If you are my guest, then what I do as a service to you is I pay it forward. Somebody got me a oil reference book, so I will give you my oil reference book if you get a starter kit from me. And I know a lot of people in doTERRA will do something similar. And so there's different ones. There's one here. It's just a hardback, full color book that'll tell you how to use your oils. And you can look up your own stuff in there and know how to use them. The third thing is that you get this amazing ability to use our rewards program. We have this rewards program where every time you purchase, you get whatever you spend in shipping, you get it back in free product points. And you also get 10 to 30% back in rebates, free product points that you can spend next month and apply those towards free oils. Now, here's the special deal that's happening right this minute. Okay, if you get a starter kit in January and then you place a 100-point reward order in February, you get $100 in free oils. Okay, $100 in free oils. So that's going on right now through the end of the month. And then I'm going to throw this out there. If you're my personal guest and you would like to get started before the end of January, I will also include a 15 milliliter bottle of Wild Orange as my gift to you. And if you'll talk to the person that invited you to take a look at this video, I am sure that they'll include some goodies as well. So you're not going to get anything special by leaving the friend that invited you to come to the video and coming to me. We're all part of the same team. And you need to work with the person that invited you to take a look at doTERRA and that shared their oils with you because they care about you. So let them help you on your journey. But if you're my guest, I'd love to help you get started and get you plugged into our community so you can learn more. Hopefully I will remember in the next few minutes. If I don't, if somebody like Aviance maybe could share the link where you can go to see those starter kits so you can check out the ones we have and see which one it works best for you. And that'll be somewhere in the comments here, so that you can go check that out. We will be back here, same place, every weekday at 1 p.m. We talk about one oil a day for about 5 to 7 minutes, so you can learn more there. You can also come back next Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Essential oils are not magic beans, and we'll have a fresh new topic for you. So thank you for spending some time with us tonight. I hope you commented if you were a guest, and I will contact you if you are the winner of something free. So hopefully somebody will win this really cool joint pain roller bottle. So we'll see you back here tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Shine on. Have a great night.